I don't know where to begin with this. What up, y'all? It's the Black Critic Guy, and today I'm here to review the anime Bakemonogatari. And I gotta say, I honestly do not know where to begin with this anime. There were a couple of scenes in the anime where I was sorta interested, but throughout the entire anime, I honestly did not give a damn, and it was so dull and uninteresting. Now, before I give you guys my description of what the premise is actually like, I want to read to you a little section I got off of Wikipedia describing the premise, and it says, the story centers on Koyumi Aragagi, a third-year high school student who survived a vampire attack and finds himself mixed up with all kinds of apparitions, gods, ghosts, mythological beasts, and spirits. Yeah, that's about 1/10 of this anime. Literally 1/10. The actual premise of the show follows Koyumi Aragagi as he walks, talks, and sits with various girls throughout the entire series. Sprinkle in a little beast, gods, spiritual beings for like 5 seconds, and that's about it. The entire series is him walking, talking, and sitting with various girls throughout the anime. That is the definitive plot of this anime. Now, I was recommended to watch this anime by one of my subscribers, Thiago Barbosa. And like I said, they have some moments in the anime, like they sprinkled in, that were interesting to a point, but throughout the entire anime, it was just dull, uninteresting. I didn't care. It gave me a feeling of when I was watching Seri no Moribito, how all the characters would just talk and nothing really happens. And that's the biggest problem with this anime. Nothing really happens. Now, before I bash the hell out of this anime, let's talk about some of the good, like the visual style of the anime. It is breathtaking and it is phenomenal. I mean, there's some good visual style, and it kind of reminded me of when I was watching Puelli Magi Modica Magica, which is not a shocker because it's from the same director. I believe his name is Akiyuki Shinbo, but he's the one that directed this anime, and he also directed Puelli Magi Modica Magica. He really likes to do all this surrealist artwork and also integrates like live action scenes with the animation, which I thought was pretty cool. But even to a point, the visual style started to annoy me, and I'll get into that. The characters, for the most part, I enjoyed most of them. They had some great character bonding, some great character chemistry. The two characters that I felt like had the strongest bond was actually our two main characters of Aragagi and Senjo Kohara, who is actually my favorite character. I love Senjo Kohara. She's a badass, she's fun, she's flirtatious. She's my favorite character throughout the series. And I really liked their relationship. It was cute, it was funny, they had great dialogue scenes sometimes. The exchanges between them were pretty funny, so I enjoyed their characters for the most part. And also, I really enjoyed the humor in this anime, and the visual styles really contributed to why I really enjoyed the humor in the anime. And also, they use a lot of meta humor, which is jokes about jokes. They reference themselves a lot, and there was actually this one scene where I'm like, wow, I'm glad they actually did that. It was a scene where Aragagi is talking to this girl, and she was saying, wow, you're really popular with all these girls. And he's like, well, actually, I've never been very popular with the girls until like spring break of last year. And I loved how they really detailed like how this normal high school virgin boy never really gets with the girls, but all of a sudden all the girls like him. And I loved how they really played and poked on that. And now we get to the things I didn't like about this anime. And as you can tell by the opening and in the beginning, there are so many things that I really do not like about this anime. I'll get the one thing that bothered me first, and that is actually its visual style. I liked it, but at a point it got really annoying where it did this whole like black screen and red screen. I was like, what's the point of that? There's no text, there's no nothing, it just blocks the scene entirely for no reason. And they do that again and again and again and again. I'm like, why? There's no point. It just seems bothersome. I mean, I know you're going for a visual take on this anime, but why black screen, red screen, word screen, why? There's no point to it, in my opinion. They could have took out every black scene, red scene, and it would have been fine. Probably the biggest problem I have with this anime is it's so dull and uninteresting. All these characters ever do throughout the entire series is walk, talk, sit. That's it. nothing happens. And not only that, but this anime is a bait and switch. Like in the first episode, they had this 30-second long scene where it's like all these fast cut action scenes and you're like, wow, I'm in for one hell of an interesting anime. And then the first episode happens and all the characters do are walk and talk and discuss and do nothing. And I was like, what the hell? What happened to the awesome action? Where is the action? Why are they just walking and talking and sitting and oh my god. What did I sign up for? And what we later find out is that that action scene actually happened, but they decided not to tell that story and tell this story, and I'm like, why? That story was 10 times more interesting and compelling than the story that you're telling right now. I was more interested in that 30-second scene in the first episode than I was in the entire 15 episodes of this anime. Granted, they did sprinkle in some interesting dialogue scenes and they did sprinkle in some action, like 3 scenes of action. But the thing is, all the action scenes last about 20 seconds and okay, you guys know me. If the dialogue scenes are handled well, I won't have a problem. Not all shows need to have action. Hell, I'm a romantic comedy kind of guy. All they ever do is talk about funny things. But the thing is, there's no weight in what they're talking about and you just don't care. The way that it started off, it made it seem like this was gonna be action anime focusing on these demons and gods. I'm like, okay, that's my mindset. We're gonna see some awesome action with demons and gods. That's what we're going for. But instead, I got this romance story that goes nowhere. Nothing happens, and I'm like, why? The characters, for the most part, you really don't care about any of them. You care about like 2 characters by the end of the anime, and that's our 2 main characters. And the rest of the characters, I mean, they're there. That's all they are. They're there. They have their development. They talk a little. Sometimes they have something interesting to say. And you're like, oh, okay, that's interesting to talk about. But for the most part, I honestly did not care for most of these characters. And speaking of characters, there are no side characters or extras. Where the hell are they? It felt like this anime was isolated in a box and no one could get in or out of this so-called box. They stayed in their own realm and it was like, where is everybody? This is the most deserted town I've ever seen. And Aragagi sisters, what was the point of their characters? They serve no real purpose in this anime other than to wake up Aragagi now and again. They're not even in the anime that much. They get like 5-second scenes and that's it. You move on to the next and we totally forget about them. And I really would have liked more explanation about Aragagi being a vampire. And no, this isn't a spoiler. He mentions it in the first episode about how he was a vampire and then he got turned back into a human. So how did he become a vampire and how did he turn back into a human and how long has he been alive as a vampire? They never explained that. They never go into detail about how he became a vampire. It just was said and that's it. And I really would have loved to see them fight these demons, these spiritual beasts, and we got a dose of that in like 1 episode. But even in that, when they were fighting, all they did was stand and talk for a few minutes. Then they did the fight and then it was ended by them standing again and talking. I wanted this anime to be more captivating, more compelling, more engaging. You know, have these characters go all out fighting these beasts. But instead I just got characters that stood around and did nothing but talk for 12 minutes long, cut to the next scene. So overall, although this anime had some breathtaking visuals and some interesting characters, the anime as a whole is just dull and uninteresting. Nothing really happens. Characters just sit, walk, and talk throughout the entire series. You get some sprinkles of action scenes here and there, but nothing to really just compel you to keep on watching. And by the end of the anime, you just forget about most of what you saw. And that's why I'm going to give this anime, sadly, a 2 out of 5 stars. It's an easily forgettable anime. But anyway, what did you guys think of this anime? Did you like it a lot and found the dialogue scenes interesting? Or were you like me and didn't really like it a lot and found the dialogue scenes just boring, uninteresting, and nothing really happens in this anime? And also let me know, what is your favorite occult anime? Like animes dealing with the summoning of beasts, the summoning of demons and angels, stuff like that. Comment below, let me know. Also stay tuned this Thursday for the final cut where we be discussing game-based animes. So, till then, I'm the Black Critic Guy, bridging the gap between movies and anime reviews. Till then, peace YouTube.